There comes a time in life when silence is no longer strength, but a burden. I've carried that burden quietly for many years, choosing peace over confrontation, choosing to understand even when I was misunderstood. And now, I choose to speak, not to hurt anyone, but to bring clarity, not to accuse but to give voice to a story that was never fully heard. Not to reopen the wounds, but to heal. The breaking point wasn't a single moment, it was a buildup of years marked by emotional and psychological suffering. What many of you don't see is that behind the calm appearance was someone carrying decades of unseen pain, confusion, and quiet struggles. I stayed silent for years, believing that maybe if I just endured it, things would change. Long before I had a family of my own, the struggle began with one individual whose relentless mistreatment left deep scars on my heart. Whose words and actions have caused me deep emotional turmoil, who made my life incredibly difficult. Over the years, they made it their mission to turn peace into chaos, spreading lies, twisting perceptions, and doing everything they could to isolate me. Their constant manipulation, gaslighting, mistreatment, verbal and emotional abuse, gossip, humiliation, and effort to turn others against me made me feel like an outsider in the very place I had hoped to belong. What should have been a place of safety and belonging became a place of judgment, fear, and quiet suffering. I wasn't just treated unfairly, I was treated as if my very presence was a threat. Living under the same roof became a daily battle. It was a living hell for me, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, because of the harmful surroundings created by their relentless maltreatment. It was a toxic environment that felt more like survival than home. I endured countless arguments, not because I sought conflict, but because I stood up against the injustice and emotional abuse. I was judged more for my shortcomings than appreciated for my gifts. My efforts were dismissed, my creativity overlooked, and my humanity questioned. Subtle comments reminded me of the roof over my head, the meals on the table, and the space I occupied, as if my presence needed constant justification. The cruelest wound came from this particular mean person. She looked me in the eye and said the words I can never forget. "You are a curse to this family." That wasn't a whisper behind my back, it was said straight to my face. And even as a young adult, those words cut deep. I carried that pain for years, not because I believed them, but because someone had the audacity to try and define my worth with such hate. But now, I understand, those words came from someone full of darkness, not truth. They were a reflection of her own bitterness, not my worth. And I refused to carry them any longer. I was never a curse, I was a survivor. There were moments I will never forget, etched into my memory like bruises on the soul. Sometimes, she wouldn't whisper. She would shout, loud enough for the neighborhood to hear, standing outside my bedroom window, hurling cruel, nasty words like stones meant to break me down.
Akala mo kung sino, adopted lang, pa-aircon-aircon pa. Parang donya. Ampon. Kapal ng mukha, ampon lang naman.
Those words, spoken like curses, stabbed deeper than anyone could see. It wasn't just the humiliation of being screamed at. It was the way she said it, like I was something shameful, something undeserving of even the smallest comfort. As if the air I breathed, the room I slept in, the cold air from an old air conditioner, I had to earn it all, and still came up short.